Namaste. Welcome and greetings. I am Magick. It's gonna stop a virus. No. This
Got y'all listening now. Some witchcraft for that ass. Too late to turn away. Abracadabra and all that good shit. Yo. Hocus pocus, got you focused on my rhyme. Simply easy, now I'm eating couch potatoes, I recline. No, I'm joking as I'm toking power puffs at Pokey-Oaks. Till my town and villa filled with ganja smoke, you know the dough. Coming out my pipes, talking about the bones in my throat. With the mic, I'm casting curses every night, you know the scope. Got my spells handy. You may call it the phone, but when I'm done reciting, you'll give me the keys to the throne. Then I take my keys to go home. Didn't say I was done. While rush to end it all, it feels amazing to have won. I'm not planning to ball, but why not take the chance to stunt? No, I don't need it all. Can think the thing I don't want. Do I worship the sun, or sold my soul for the tongue, or dead since I was young, or got some voodoo done?
Namaste, Namastizzle. Peace and many blessings, brothers and sisters. Shalom. Greetings. What's up? Now, Magick here. Hope you're having a great first day of Halloween. Happy first day of Halloween. I see people are already here. Gotti, what's up? Brother Moore, what's going on? Yeah, we on early today because I think I may run over. Brother Konami, what's the deal? Again, hopefully you're having a great Tuesday. First day of Halloween. They already planned one of my favorites. My wife is in there watching it now, Trick or Treat. That's the 3 stories in one. So, it's going to be a great month. It's my favorite time of the year. Okay. Disclaimer. All right. If you're easily offended, I suggest you leave now. I don't suspect that this video is going to not be flagged because of the content, but it's I'm letting y'all know now that we're going to speak about a topic that no one wants to talk about. Okay. And that's called racism. You know what I'm saying? So why would an occultist be talking about racism? Quite frankly, it's not going anywhere. It hasn't gone anywhere. It has gotten worse. You know what I mean? And people seem at large to be ignoring it. Welcome to spooky season. Exactly. That's what's up. Peace, divine peace. Brother Grimoire, how you doing, man? Empress KK, what's going on? And I figured I would start today with a piece that I wrote back in 2006. So I no longer write poetry. I no longer have the passion for it. But at one time, I was a writer, So this piece is called I Remember 13. I remember some things. Now, I don't claim to remember every little thing, but I remember. As a naive child, I loved the world. To be alive in the ghetto was the greatest thing to me. And growing up Catholic, I enjoyed the religious community. I was an altar boy. I aspired to become a priest, way deep down in the belly of the beast. Didn't even have to remind me to go to church, praying to a white God, a white Mary, white saints, statues and stuff. Wasn't aware of anything better because I hadn't been exposed to too much. Listen, I remember 13. How I thought white rock bands were the thing to listen to. As far as my own music and culture was concerned, ladies and gentlemen, this king today didn't have a clue. Chalky women were so awesome with their blue eyes and stringy hair. Caucasoids had it all. It always had me in awe. Being called a nigger one day didn't bother me at all. White was right and everything was all right. I remember. At the age 13, I finally learned of my history, given a taste, a lesson, a shock of the atrocity called slavery. I remember going home that day in a furious rage, telling moms how I hated the white race. That fateful, glorious day, I was exposed to the endurance and resiliency of my race. Never again looked at a pale face the same. Learning of my ancestors' struggle was to blame. But that day, I stripped myself of all the falsehood, the lies I had been told. Walked barefoot in a street full of glass. pouring with the ancients' blood, because I wanted to somehow witness their pain. I vowed to learn about myself, my people, and re-educate myself again. I remember that day. I was 13. A God was born for the first time, come to slay the unrighteous. Join my brethren in the struggle and fight. I remember. All 7 chakras were charged with the power of the elders that day. I would continue to fill my cerebrum with knowledge, wisdom, understanding, complete power. I remember, dearly beloved, a promise I made. If I ever bore seeds, I will pass the godhood on, to raise them righteously, even as I continue my own growth, till no more breath resided in me. Take a look, see. I remember. I was 13. No longer seeing the world through the eyes of a child, but a newly born king. The age 13 changed me forever, beloved. No longer would I think a we are the world mentality or sing fantasy songs about uniting with a race that don't give a fuck about us. The age 13 changed me forever, brothers and sisters. No longer would I not stand proud of my heritage. I will forever eternally walk and talk like the God I am. Carry the spirit of my elders in my entire being. I will live righteously and humbly, but be damned any mere mortal that would try or dare fuck with me. The age 13 changed me forever, beloved. The Creator breathed fire through my nostrils that day for my ancestors, those bombed in churches praying, unjustly attacked, those that wrongfully wronged us would pay. I remember, born in the presence of a waxing crescent when I turned 13. A pregnant moon was my present from the heavens. I was given a sign, a symbol, a message across the bear. The power I would yield would create tidal waves. Awareness and consciousness will rise as my energy centers were electrified. A cobra was awakened. The God, the king, the revolutionary, Lion, roars loudly and proudly, claiming his regal throne, bellowing to the earth, which he recognizes he owns. Age 13 murdered that child, and from the ashes rose an Egyptian warrior. I remember clearly that day, coming forth from the tribe of Shabazz, representative of the Zulu nation, bearing great fury and backed by the Almighty. I remember that fateful, glorious day. Age 13 changed me forever. I remember. So I thought I would share that with y'all. What's going on, Maroon Beauty? Hope you are healing well. Peace and blessings to my missus. So this is an invocate. My bad, I had to step away. No, not an invocation. This was a poem I wrote in 2006. Okay, 2006. It weighed heavily on me if I should do this broadcast at all today. You know, for a lot of times. I avoid this particular topic. It seems like everybody avoids it. 1 second. Now let's hear from our brother.
A lot of times they ask, what can they do to help the situation? And I feel that they should go over to their people and represent this issue the same way this brother puts his life on.
I'm so sorry. A moment of silence. Let's give a moment of silence for John Amos passed today, you know, and that was a TV dad that a lot of us related to. A lot of us didn't grow up with fathers. Let's just be real about it. And he was just like that symbol of that strong black male figure that was in the household. So rest in peace, John Amos. May you travel well with the ancestors. Rest in peace. Dikembe Mutombo, who also passed today, or passed yesterday. Travel well, young warriors.
On the line for us, they should be doing the same thing, because otherwise it's going to be a one-sided view. They need to reach their people as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
What I'd like to know is, what do they say to the KKK, the skinheads, the Nazis? They're so worried about this one brother. What about them?
Well, I don't know whether you want to suggest that all white folks support the KKK.
Well, enough of them do.
Yeah.
And so to that point right there, to that point, this is the Phil Donahue show in which Khalid Muhammad was speaking. And that's one of the tricks that they use, brothers and sisters. You know, this is not meant to be some kind of hate live or anything like that. It's just obvious points that I need to point out. You know what I mean? That's one of the tricks. She says enough of them do, right? Don't y'all know that when Caucasians support one of their own, the whole world knows about it? Look at the support Caitlin Clark gets. Look at the support that they put behind the Beastie Boys. If they really wanted racism to end, if they really wanted it to, don't you think that with their numbers, they and their power and influence, that they can put it behind ending racism? Just think about that for a second. Let us continue.
East Africa. Thank you. Sir, I get it. That's what's beautiful.
I can't believe exactly what I'm hearing. We went to war in World War II to fight for the freedom of speech. We didn't fight for freedom of speech of hatred. Many of our members, I'm the National Commander of Jewish War Veterans, and over 50,000 of our men died fighting for your right to free speech here now. I don't understand why you come out with such hatred.
Phil, excuse me, Phil.
Mr. Muhammad.
Yes, sir.
You make me sick to my stomach with that. Because
You
at
make
the
me sick
same
also.
time that you were fighting, you were not fighting for the freedom and independence of black people. Soldiers, black soldiers in segregated companies lost their lives on foreign soil there, but would have to come back and fight just to get a bite to eat and not have to go to the toilet on the side of the road somewhere in the bushes. So you're nothing but hypocrites, and you won't pull that small time stuff over on me.
Shut him down, shut him down. You know, this is one of his best interviews. Please check it out. It is in full on YouTube. That's the one got you? Yeah. He straight hold them people like they need to be on national TV. Hold them. Oh, I ain't done with him by a long shot, y'all. I am not done with him. But you know, as it comes to our leaders, they will all remember. I'm always saying, how can we win when they got so many agents on their side? Here's a classic example. Here's Khalid being interviewed by Uncle Ruckus.
Self-defense. If they touch you, take their guns. In other words, what type of real leader advocates violence when there are thousands of young lives at risk?
The Bible speaks of the Good Shepherd. And the Bible says that when the wolves attack the sheep, attack the flock, that the Good Shepherd is a responsible shepherd. And that shepherd works indeed to protect the flock from the attacking wolves. I notice you said in your statement that it was a statement in self-defense, and certainly in the Second Circuit Court and the Court of Appeals, Judge Chin and the higher court determined that my words were indeed words spoken in self-defense and self-defense only.
But what kind of leader uses those words when there are people's lives at risk?
A strong leader, a bold leader, an uncompromising
and
leader.
then the type of leader that as soon as the stuff hits the fan, he leaves.
Well, you know that I didn't leave, but you are playing the devil's advocate, as you do so often. You're sitting here in the place of the white man, saying what the white man wants you to say.
You've
Minister,
seen in the newspapers, in the Post, in the Daily News,
Minister,
me in the middle of the police
Minister,
and the security holding me back. It was impossible to leave. I've even heard the lie that I left in a white Mercedes Benz, which was early in the morning at 9 a.m. when I went to Federal Express. The police froze all vehicles behind the stage. No vehicle was allowed to leave that day. And as I faced the Klan and police in Jasper, Texas, after they had dragged our brother to his death, that is the way I faced them that day. And it is a propaganda scheme to say that I turned heels and ran, and I understand it's up to you to make sure that that gets out.
But let me backtrack for 1 second. You've started with, I'm here in the white man's shoes, and I guess you're headed with the Uncle Tom.
Do you work for New York One?
I do work.
Are you being paid for this interview?
But
do you get a check, sir?
Is that the best shot that you have, the Uncle Tom line?
I didn't call you Uncle Tom, but
you said
you said it better than it could be said. You are here indeed. I believe you are a professional, but I do also believe that as a professional, you have a job, you have a duty. And I don't believe that you are a reporter first in the way that you have presented yourself to the community, a reporter who reports fairly. I believe that before being a reporter, you shouldn't be a reporter first. You are not a reporter first. You should be black first, with the responsibility. What kind of reporter would sit up and keep telling lies? What kind of reporter would try to confuse his people for a paycheck?
Well,
can you answer that, sir?
Again, I'm here to ask the question.
But can you answer that?
Again, one other question.
Will you answer that, sir?
Minister, I'm not here to answer the question.
What kind of
I'm here
reporter would
to ask the question.
put out false reports, sir?
I don't.
You're my brother. I love you, but don't do this, brother. Be a strong reporter. Be a revolutionary reporter. It was Paul Robeson who said the battlefield is everywhere. And so you must battle on the battlefield at New York One.
Police made the move last year to shut down the generator. But you had to know, you're a very smart man, that the city was not going to let you go 1 minute past 4 o'clock. Can one reasonably conclude that you were looking to spark an incident, possibly to spark a riot?
Emphatically no, sir, I was not. And I appreciate the credit that you have given me, but I did indeed believe that there would be flexibility at the end of the rally because they had promised flexibility and they had said that there would not be strict adherence to the 4 o'clock. So as you know, and I've heard you say, I had finished speaking. The police attacked an otherwise peaceful rally that had already concluded as I told our people to go on home in love and unity to their families. So I guess to some degree, sir, I did not believe that they would attack at 4 o'clock or 4:01 in answer to your question.
Are you going to honor the 4 p.m. deadline tomorrow?
Indeed, I will honor the 4 p.m. deadline on tomorrow.
Are you willing to vow that you or your supporters will not call for violence tomorrow under any circumstance?
No, sir, I am not. We believe that by the grace and the power of Almighty God and our ancestors, that we have a God-given right. We have a human right, and according to white constitutional law, we also have, according to white constitution, a constitutional right to believe in peace if possible, but violence when necessary. Everything in nature, sir, will defend itself. We should not be the aggressor. We should not be provocative, but we should defend our men, our women, our children, and our elders, as Judge Chin said, in self-defense.
So you're telling me here now that you're not ruling out the possibility of violence tomorrow?
I honestly do not believe, Brother Dominique, as hard as you attempt in your weak manner to press, I honestly do not believe that there will be any violence tomorrow whatsoever. As we present the Million Youth March 1999 7-point program of action, as we present that program to the masses of our people, to the indigenous people called the Latinos and called the Dominicans and the Cubans and the Puerto Ricans and the Red Indians or other indigenous people who will come to join in with us. And I hope you will be there.
I will be there.
Not just as a reporter, but as a black brother.
All right, so this interview actually really got on my nerves because this man was an Uncle Ruckus to the 5th degree. You know what I'm saying? Kept trying to and was failing miserably. But how can you win when you got all these people on their side? You know what I'm saying? That's one of the things that they have done, and they have done well. They have brainwashed people who look like us to help their cause. You know, it is what it is. Oh yeah, his death story really is crazy. I mean, I would love to have that brother back here now. When that brother got dragged to his death in Jasper, Texas, Dr. Khaled was down here. Peace and blessings, prosperity, Katrina. Exactly. You are supposed to suffer in the face of violence. That's the most ignorant thing ever. The number one universal law is self-preservation. Peace, Chikezi. What's going on, fam? His spirit is high in the realm. This man, he was so uncompromising, so black. You know what I'm saying? You got to be careful at all times when it comes to trying to liberate melanated people. You know what I mean? So nothing's changed. Absolutely nothing has changed. You know what I'm saying? Everything that we built has been stolen from us. Let's keep it 100. Everything we built and hidden from the masses of people. You know what I'm saying? Even magic, even what we call magic or the occult. See what I'm saying? Many people don't know who Pascal Beverly Randolph is, you know, but yet still they created whole religions, theosophy of his works. See what I'm saying? When you control everything, you can do that. When you control what the people, what the masses of people see and hear, you can do that. You can tell them whatever you want them to know. I get it. I get what you're saying. Yes, exactly. My advice to anyone, you know, I'm actually kind of honestly surprised that his videos are still on YouTube. Watch his videos and watch what he says, and in a clear, concise, and intelligent manner in which he presents it. You know what I mean? This is one of the brothers, besides Azazel Bay, Bobby Hemmett, and whoever else you follow. You should be following Khalid Muhammad too. Okay? You got to have a balance. All right? Be peaceful, but always be prepared for war. Okay? Everything in nature defends itself. Everything. We the only people told to not defend ourselves. They made laws. Ask yourself, they made laws. How were Jim Crow laws able to be made and enforced if not the backing of the highest levels of government? How? You know what I mean? Back to the brother. Where are we? This is another one that I want y'all to check out when you can. It's called The Lie Killer. Give me a second. I'm trying to cue it up here. We'll just go with what we have. Let's just go with what we have. And this is not, before anyone can even try to say racism. This is not racism. This is pretty much a history lesson. You know what I mean? This is me sharing my points of view, my views, my opinions on my channel.
Years ago was two Americas, one black and one white, separate and unequal, and that the number one problem in America 30 years ago was white racism. 30 years later, after Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., the Kerner Commission has reconvened and determined that America is still two Americas, one black and one white, separate still, unequal still, and that the number one problem in America today is still white racism. 30 years after Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., they questioned Jet Magazine staff and journalists questioned the widow of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. They questioned Sister Coretta Scott King. They questioned his daughter. They questioned his son. They questioned the Reverend Wyatt T. Walker. They questioned former city councilman Hosea Williams, who was one of his right-hand men. They questioned Andy Young, former mayor.
The right moment. He was going to say Amos and Andy, but you know, separate and unequal, y'all. Still to this day, no matter how much they want you to believe the opposite is true. You know what I mean? They got most of us believing this. You know, we got to dispel these myths. Okay. It's just not true. Okay. There are so many reports these days of young children being exposed to racism. You know what I'm saying? By other children who they thought were their friends. Here's one such case that happened in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. And I bet y'all probably none of y'all have heard this.
Into this young man's chest, and nothing has happened to them yet. The story I'm about to tell you is 100% real. It happened a day and a half ago. And if this doesn't fucking make you rage out, if this doesn't make you want to yell at the top of your lungs, justice for this young man, get the fuck off of my page. Imagine being a young black man at college. You're on the swim team. You're hanging out with your swim team buddies at a gathering. Then, out of nowhere, you are jumped, grabbed, held down, and then one of the swim team members who you considered your closest friend at the school grabs a fucking box cutter and carves the N-word into your chest. They carved the N-word into this young black man's chest while laughing like hyenas, thinking it was funny. Now, you want to know what makes this story worse? And yes, it actually gets worse. The young man that had it carved in his chest, he's the only one that has left the college. The other racist who assaulted this young man and carved that horrible word into his chest are still here at Gettysburg. I need every one of my family on this page. If you support me even a little bit, share this fucking video out. I'm sure none of you have seen this story on the news. I'm sure none of you have heard about it. I fucking wonder why. I am done remaining silent on topics like this. This young man was an athlete. This young man was going to college. This young man was trying to better himself. And now he is scarred with that on his chest for life. Even if he medically gets it removed, that young man is scarred for fucking life for trusting his friends, his teammates. They did this to him. To the family of this young man, I know you still are undecided on what you're going to do, but I want you to know you have my platform. You have my millions of followers. I will let you have whatever you want. Please, have you someone attached to you, your lawyers, if they reach out to me, you will have a platform to speak on. I have two accounts with almost 4 million followers. We will get your message out. I'm telling you right now, this entire Southside Angel Crew Army has your back. We are not going to let this go silently away. we will get justice for this young man. And Gettysburg, you better be ready, because we...
All right. I'm looking at the chat as I'm showing this, and apparently this story is fake. Now, I'm going to come back to that. If this is true, I'm going to come back to this. This very same TikToker gave an update. Okay. So while you said that, I went here because I believe in doing research. I talk about it all the time. There's a couple of I'm reading as quickly as I can. I'm going to continue my research on that. Okay. I will continue my research on that. But so far, what I'm seeing is that there are a couple different articles on this. Right. There are many examples of this. We have to know when people don't like or respect you. And that's the problem, too. That's one of the problems. We want to be accepted by everybody. All of us want to be accepted. We've always want to go to places where it's a bunch of them at. Let's be real about it. Psych op fuckery? Okay. All right. So looks like I need to do more of my research then. Okay. All right. I'm going to look back into this, but guarantee I will come back to it. Okay. If it is found to be a fake, I will come back and I will apologize. I will retract my statements. That doesn't make it any less true about it happening all over the country. I've heard personally of some examples of children. These people, now you got to remember, a lot of people come to me and tell me stories about stuff that happens. And you'll be surprised how many people come to me and want me to tell their story on my lives. You know what I'm saying? I've heard a couple different stories about children suffering racism from other children. You know what I'm saying? Just a few years ago, a 10-year-old was walking around his class calling the black child, said, "You're my slave. You're going to do what I say to do." This actually happened in Texas. That was a couple years ago. And then remember, I said about a month ago in Washington State, the young white child told the black child, "I'll be your friend. You give me a pass to call you a nigger." There's many more other things that happened, though. So if this was indeed a psych op or a wrong statement, I humbly apologize for that. But I will be guaranteed I will be back, come back to this. Missing people being alerted out here in California. That trafficking thing, huh? Silver alerts named missing or endangered adults. It was a message about a hanging going. Listen to the stories that people in the chat are saying. So even if that story is not true, when have you ever heard of a bunch of melanated people hanging or lynching a white person or burning one alive? Now, we have documented history on that. Okay. The area in NC that hung the black truck driver a month is gone from the hurricane. Now, that's very interesting. Very interesting. No evidence or results, but messages have been put out. And this is happening in California. Thank y'all for weighing in. I do appreciate that. I always like the assist. If I'm wrong, I have no problem saying I'm wrong. So they're getting silver alerts in California, y'all. If you are in California, please beware. Okay? Let's not forget. And it's not that I'm bringing up past events. I'm coming to a point. You know, let's not forget Katrina. Not you, Katrina. Not you, Katrina. But Hurricane Katrina. When they labeled the people, the residents, refugees. I saw this for myself. I'm sure y'all saw it. You know what I mean? Nothing has changed, y'all. That's my whole point. Nothing has changed. They gave you a blueprint. They gave you a blueprint on how politics work. In this movie, A Time to Kill, starring Samuel L. Jackson, his daughter, and when have you ever seen a white, a Caucasian girl, 11 supposedly, being raped on camera? Please let me know if you have. His daughter got raped. He took justice in his own hands. They wanted to kill him for it. They wanted to electrocute him. You know what I'm saying? This was A Time to Kill. Came out in 1995. Okay? The white lawyer did get him off. But it showed you, in that movie, it showed you the politicians, the lawyers, the judges, the policemen, all Caucasian. They put themselves in the positions of power, y'all. You know how powerful that is to do? So, of course, they've been told the same lies we've been told. So, of course, they can walk around like they own everything. Ever since this country was established and put into place, this is what they did. They made themselves judges, lawyers, doctors, cops, members of Congress. I think members of Congress were what, 98% Caucasian? California has it harder than most until February when it gets out of it enemy dragon year. There was okay, so that movie was a remake. I didn't know that was an original movie somewhere. But I tried to play it again. My bad. I'm coming back to that. I guarantee I'm coming back to that. Let's not forget that they put this supposed superiority and racism in movies. They do it all the time. Why? Because they like to traumatize your brain. They like to traumatize you with trauma porn. Okay? The reason I'm saying all of this is because nothing has changed. And people are going around ignoring all this shit. You see what I'm saying? Yes, exactly, Sister Righteous. That movie was very triggering. I remember thinking to myself, what would I have done in that situation? I have a daughter. What would they raped her so bad, she was unable to have children. Urinated on her, left her for dead. And we all know things like that actually happened. You know what I mean? You now have access to it from social media and from apps, and people act like it does not happen. People are just, as long as people are able to live their lives, take care of their families, work, eat, sleep, and shit, then they are all good. Meanwhile, same shit, different day. Indeed, Technique Twin. What's going on, brother? I didn't see you sneak in. Okay. Like I said, if this topic offends you, free to leave. Let's talk about it. Fuck it. Let's talk about it. Okay. I know that there's no occultists talking about this. You know what I'm saying? You are free to defend yourself. Okay. This, I thought I'd never seen the movie, but this was a powerful scene right here. Powerful scene. And I still have not seen the movie. Let's see, where did it go? Oh, here we go.
Not my imagination. Now, where the hell do you go every day? To the bathroom, sir.
The bathroom. To the damn bathroom. For 40 minutes a day? What are you doing there? We're T-minus 0 here. I put a lot of faith in you.
There's no bathroom for me here.
What do you mean there's no bathroom for you here?
There is no bathroom. There are no colored bathrooms in this building or any building outside the West Campus, which is half a mile away. Did you know that? I have to walk to Timbuktu just to relieve myself. And I can't use one of the handy bikes. Picture that, Mr. Harrison. My uniform, skirt below my knees, my heels, and a simple string of pearls. Well, I don't own pearls. Lord knows you don't pay colors enough to afford pearls. And I work like a dog day and night, living off of coffee from a pot none of you want to touch. So, excuse me if I have to go to the restroom a few times a day.
So, what did we learn? We learned that although conditions aren't that bad these days, that they were actually that bad at one time. You know what I'm saying? If you dig far enough in history, you will know that this whole planet was indigenous at one time and that we built great civilizations. No matter how fucking hard they try to hide it. You know what I'm saying? They came along. This is not any hate speech. They came along and they made it seem like we ain't shit. And they put themselves in the positions of power to enforce that idea. Then they took over Hollywood and made movie after movie after movie with nothing but Caucasian people in it. And showed that and broadcast it. You know what I mean? So we got a generation of people walking around here not knowing the history and believing that these people are the pinnacle of everything successful. Let that sink in. I want to go back to the lie killer. You got to understand something also while I'm talking like this. I talk like this because before I was an occultist, before I was a sorcerer, before I was a magician, I was militant. I came into racism at a very early age. I seen the politics of racism in the military at 17 years old. You see what I'm saying? And I've seen it ever since then. I am now 55. You know what I mean? So excuse me if that fire still shines brightly into me. You have a bunch of Negroes not wanting to do anything but entertain and flex for other Negroes. You know what I'm saying? I like what Maroon Beauty just said. I don't like this scene. It's trying to teach us our place, and we should be grateful for any kindness. That's exactly what it's showing. They switch roles because we actually civilized them. Read the book, Message to the Black Man. Read your history. Read Black Roots Science. That explains it even better. Right. White. They accept all of this shit. They accept the roots, Queen. In Queen, there's a scene in Queen. Alex Haley, another boule nigga. There's a scene in Queen where they were hanging this brother, played by the Allstate guy, the one that says, "Are you in good hands?" Him. I forget his name. He's also the one that was fucking Whitney Houston in Waiting to Exhale. There's a scene in there where they're about to hang him, and he sat his son in front of him. Watch daddy hang and watch him burn. And you remember. This is put into movies. Would it be fair to say that some of those who are born colored people in this time might be the white oppressors of the past? I've often thought about that one. You're absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. Some of them, yeah. I do believe that. I'm going backwards with y'all comments, y'all, because I didn't think of that. Well, I did, but I think much of it. The Hurricane with Denzel Washington. Awesome. I've never seen that movie. I don't know. I was never interested in it, but I will check it out if you suggest it. So I had to grow up, before I show that next statement, I had to grow up watching shit like that. You know what that does to a child's self-esteem and his worth? You know what that does? You know what psychologically that does? You know what I'm saying? It's one of their many tricks that they do. They had to dumb down and destroy hip-hop because Brand Nubian was on the scene. X-Clan, Public Enemy, Cam. You see what I'm saying? Paris. All these black revolutionary groups. And they were educating the masses with their music. So it had to become the nonsense you hear today. It had to. No other race is robbed of their self-worth and their self-preservation than the melanated race. None. Just a big game they play and perpetuate on our land, thinking many would never know how to break the cycle. Their programming time is over with for many. Indeed. Yes, indeed. And thanks for saying that. Powerful statement, brother. All right. Heavy on Khaled today. I've been watching his videos and studying all weekend.
Is the food of the anteater. The anteater must have food, must have water, must have air, must have the proper environmental and atmospheric conditions. Let's look at the chicken and the chicken hawk. Both of them must have food. Both must have air. Both must have water and the proper atmospheric and environmental conditions. It just so happens that the chicken is the food of the chicken hawk. Nature is set up with predators and prey. And we have been the prey of the white man for the past 4,000 to 6,000 years of his sojourn here on our planet. The brown man and woman, the red man and woman, the yellow man and woman, all have been the prey of the white man. The white man is our natural enemy. I know nobody teaches that too much anymore. We've gotten sophisticated now. We talk all up in the clouds now. We talk all kinds of proper talk and talk that borderlines that we might be trying to get away, but we also look like we're trying to stay. All at the same time. We're dreaming of a brighter day in America. We got to search for tomorrow in America. I cannot change, and I will not change. And God damn it, don't ask me to change, because I'm not going to. The white man is not a devil, but the white man is the devil. And if the white man is not the devil, he's going to have to do until the real devil gets here. Civil rights and human rights, the challenge of the 21st century. Look at it. If you're going to look at Malcolm X and Martin Luther King, you got to look at them in phases. You got Old Testament Malcolm and New Testament Malcolm. You got Old Testament Martin and New Testament Martin. Old Testament Martin had a soft line. Old Testament Martin had a soft line. New Testament Martin moved toward a harder line.
Let me stop it there and say that towards the end of his sojourn, so to speak, Martin Luther King Jr. admitted he feared that he may have led his people into a burning house, or however he put it. You know what I'm saying? He realized what he done. Think about that. You know what I'm saying? Even though I ain't gonna go there. But you think about the teachings, non-violence. And that's some of the worst violence we had endured. But we were supposed to be non-violent. Think about that, y'all. Non-violent. And as it says here in the book of Yakub, which is another book that I suggest you read, it says right here, I think I've shown this before, but let me share it again. It says, Yakub took the best of the Moabite nation, which represented civilization, intellect, and spirituality, and made it with the potential best of the upcoming race, which represented cunning, ruthlessness, and spirituality. These experimentations resulted in the culmination of the fall of the Moabite civilization and the rise of another which brought ignorance, superstition, human hatred, amalgamation, medical science, human warfare, bloodshed, destruction, starvation, and sorrow. Such is the great price humanity has paid for the human bouquet. That's how deep you actually need to go back and study. You know what I'm saying? I like what Katrina says here. Every other race gets to reserve their culture except us. Y'all expecting this woman, if she gets into office, to save y'all? Not y'all, but she's in power now. She's the vice president now. Like Asir, the Duke of Tears, pointed out when I interviewed him. Why can't you do this stuff now? You know what I'm saying? That's a whole other topic that I ain't gonna get into. Turn the other cheek kind of BS. Exactly. Non-violent boule. Exactly. That's where Cosby was the torchbearer. Thanks for the assist, brother. Yes. You too, Katrina. Motherfuckers fighting to be politically correct, and we ain't even supposed to be in politics. Say it again. All right. Back to color. And this is why I say magic is your way out. Call it what you want. Call it spirituality, occultism, metaphysics, whatever you like to call it, but get into it.
Malcolm went back to Saudi Arabia after he had been the first time. And he went in and he wrote postcards back. He sent letters back saying, "Here I am in Mecca, and it's a sight to behold. Here I am," he said, "sleeping on the same mat, eating from the same bowl, drinking from the same cup, with men whose skin is the whitest of white, whose hair is the blondest of blonde, whose eyes are the bluest of blue. This proves that it can work, that integration can work." He was interviewed. He said, "I was in Mecca," he said, "and I was with men whose skin would be considered white in Mecca." He said, "But they had Islam." And he said Islam made them different. Islam didn't allow them to act like racists. And that's what the white man in America needs, Malcolm said. He needs Islam. Well, wait, let me tell you something. I've been to Mecca 8 times. Okay? Yes, sir. I came back each time believing that the white man was more the devil after I got back than before I went over there. There are Muslims who don't want you to talk about this. We got to deal with the truth. Astaghfirullah, astaghfirullah. There is no division in Islam. There is no invidious class distinction in Islam. I'll be damned. I was in Mecca at the Mitar, or the airport. The biggest delegation to come to Mecca is represented by the blue, black, purple, black Nigerians and Senegalese from West Africa. West Africa sends the biggest delegation. Some of our brothers and sisters so beautiful, so black, looked like they would spit ink. It's black, spit black ink. I saw some of them, their greatest dream, even though they might be 70 or 80, some in their 90s, is to just make it to the holy city of Mecca one time in their life before they pass on. Some of them want to die in Mecca. That's their dream their whole life through. I saw elder sisters looking like they were 80 years, 90 years old in the airport. I saw racist white Arabs with their gutra and their matob and all of that they wear. I saw them run through the airport and grab elder Nigerian sisters and Senegalese sisters and grab them and snatch them and just throw them across the airport. And I'd run to their white behinds and grab them and throw them against the damn wall. And couldn't speak Arabic, but I was telling them, that's my great grandmother that you just, whether I ever met her before, that's my great grandmother that I left in Africa generations down the line.
And so all over the world, it amazes me how they were able to conquer the entire earth. You know what I mean? This is not my opinion. This is a fact. And they set up caste systems everywhere they went. Do you know that most Caucasians do not believe that white privilege exists? As hard as it is to deny that, there are people I see on many articles saying, oh, that I'm tired of that, or I'm tired of saying blacks saying they built civilization. These things are facts and can be fucking proven. And yet they still deny this shit. It's foolish to think that if indigenous melanated people were all around the earth and developed civilizations and developed magical systems, then it's foolish to think that the magical systems don't come from those who you share genetics with. It's foolish to think that shit. You know what I'm saying? And they actually admit to it in indirect ways. Their TV shows, which is their playground. Okay? American Horror Story Coven. Angela Bassett says it. Everything you got from us. Wicca was established in 1954 by Gerald Gardner. Hoodoo was around way before that. Okay? American Gods. They took one of the most powerful characters off of there. Orlando Jones' character. He brought that character to life. You know what I'm saying? He brought it to life. If that is a one powerful scene that he says, not just on the slave ship, but he says it, he gives like a sort of monologue to the Queen of Sheba and Iblis. See what I'm saying? It is on YouTube. Okay? It is on YouTube. Lovecraft Country showed sundown towns. Not only did they show sundown towns, they gave you hints. They gave you hints that This is how you get out of it. Your magic. Of course, they exaggerate it. Okay? They romanticize it and they make it Hollywoodized. Hollywoodized? Whatever. But they were going to get killed by these people, by this cop and some other Caucasians. And these monsters came to save them. This is why they say that the Necronomicon is the most evil book that exists. It's because of the magic that's in it. And it goes way past their history. You know what I'm saying? Watchmen is another one. Watchmen with Regina King. There's yet another one. They give you hints in everything. They admit everything, but indirectly. Yes, Anansi. Thank you, Gotti. I appreciate it. Anansi. I couldn't remember. Thanks for the assist. Appreciate that. It's foolish to think a few white and a non-white land was there for anything other than resources. White men went to Mecca to get that oil and they got it. Exactly. Exactly. Thanks, Tosh. I didn't see you sneak in here. Salute, Technique Twin. Let's talk about it, y'all. Let's talk about it. They have trauma porn all over. There's another series called Them that I refuse to watch. They came out with a movie called Karen. You know what I mean? If Technique, I'm sorry. If privilege doesn't exist for them, explain to me how on the biggest stage that exists for sports, on the biggest stage, this woman goes and makes a complete mockery of an art form that was developed in the ghetto. She made a mockery of it. She made a mockery of it. She made a mockery of breakdance. How was that even able to happen? Race memories, race trauma. It's not easy for our people. Some of us are our own ancestors. Indeed. Don't forget, they are over there in Egypt whitening up the images in the pyramids. They wanted to be them so bad that they put themselves in everything. Moses, the 10 Commandments, everybody Caucasian. Elizabeth Taylor playing Cleopatra. And in any apocalyptic movie that they show, at the end of everything, bunch of Caucasians. I just watched Wall-E at y'all's suggestion this past weekend. And the thing that I couldn't help but notice, that all these Caucasians around. Where the niggas? I hate to say it like that, but you know what I'm saying? The hammer wants the nails. Yes. They've been showing sundown towns now on TikTok and shit. Right. But you know why that works? Let me tell you why that works. It's all about intimidation. It's all about intimidation and the myth that they are the majority. That is a myth. Let me say it one more time. That is a myth that they are a majority. Yet, and still, if you have the positions of power and the media and all the resources, then you can say that you are the majority. How? If we populated the entire earth, how do we become a minority? Like Bobby said, on a 5,000-year-old prophetic level, that we chose them to be custodians of all our shit until it was our time to wake up and rule with matriarch goddesses. Excellent technique. Excellent. When you flow and you make up words, it's like, okay. I was trying to flow. You got me want to do some magic and hit sundown town. Hey, no wise man goes on public media and says what they're going to do. Be strategic. I'm just saying. I mean, I wouldn't want to cause any of these people any cause for concern, you know. I wouldn't want to cause any of these fine people any cause for concern, you know what I'm saying? So I was amazed how they would use the magic on cars in Lovecraft. They had to shut it down, though. They show you once, and then they completely let it go. A Man Called Hawk should have ran for several seasons. Several. Heru in the Flesh, A Man Called Hawk. Avery Brooks. It's not about erasing memories, but it's more about understanding the prophecy set forth before our time to allow karmic paths to align for greater, proven, victorious last laugh reason. He said a mouthful technique to it. He said a mouthful. Thanks, brother. Thank you. We were all hybridized to make better slave. We have their blood in our veins. I smell something big at work. There's yet another myth. You know how much rape would have had to happen for us to all have their blood? That is another myth. I'm sorry, I have to disagree with you on that one. That is another myth. They're trying to magically put themselves in the future in spite of their low birth rate. Somebody had to say it. They are at 0% birth rate for a few years now. 0%. We aren't in their future. Trust and know that they're working on our extinction right now while we're doing balloon popping videos, while we're worried about Diddy and all his foolishness, while we're worried about all these silly ass celebrity bootleg niggas that don't do shit for us and don't even know we exist. Tosh, you said a mouthful. Thank you. Back to Dr. Collins. I can never get enough of this brother. I really can't. He says so much.
Honest, except proof of the eunuchs is proof enough for me. I was in the Sudan, and I was sitting with Brother Sadiq al-Mahdi with the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. We were at Sadiq al-Mahdi's home, and out of the clear black or blue, I asked one of my questions. The minister looked at me. I said, Brother Sadiq, do our people here in the Sudan consider themselves Muslim? Or, I didn't say that. Do they consider themselves Arab or African? He never hesitated. He said Arabs. Now he's in the Sudan. He said, we are Arabs. Anyone who speaks the Arabic language is an Arab. I said, brother, that sounds, the minister looked at me. But he didn't stop me though. He let me go on. I said, that sounds like Arab imperialism to me. You mean you're an African and you deny your Africanism? To say that you're an Arab, I could have understood a little bit. If he would have said we are Muslim, then he would have been dealing with something in a religious or spiritual realm. But he said we are Arab. And I hear many arrogant Arabs say, oh, assalamu alaikum, alhamdulillah. We are so happy that you have accepted our religion, Islam. Say it's not your religion. All that I'm covering now deals with Malcolm's dream of human rights. You can't get human rights legislated from The Hague in Netherlands. You can't get human rights legislated from any white European body on the face of the planet Earth. You can't take your case to a world court. Malcolm, we love you for all that you have done, but 30 years later, we must make a careful, critical, and correct analysis. You can't take your case before the United Nations. Rockefeller paid for a greater portion of the very ground that the United Nations is sitting on. All of the African nations and Asian nations can vote together in a solid block And one stinking cracker can walk to the podium, may not even walk to the podium, hit a button or hit a lever at the desk and veto. One cracker can veto all of the votes put together. Am I lying? How many know what I'm talking about? Let me see your hand. If you don't know what I'm talking about, just keep your damn hand down. Some of you won't raise your hand. You don't have to raise your hand. Hell, you know some of the ones that didn't raise their hand know I'm telling the truth. But you want to keep the lie out there because some don't want to give this white man up.
Right. Exactly.
Human rights. You are the human. You are the human. He is not a human. You are the human. You naturally have the moral and spiritual and ethical nature. I'll do that in part 2 after the break. I'll lay this out and I'll cover it after the break. I've been, and we'll get back to Malcolm in a minute. I've been to Muslim countries. I've been to Christian countries. I've been to capitalist countries. I've been to socialist countries. I've been to communist countries. I've been to so-called Jew countries. And no matter what the social, political, economic, academics system is, wherever the black-white dynamic existed, I found the white on top and the black on the bottom.
Listen.
If it was based on race, I saw the white race on top, black race on the bottom. If it was based on class, I saw the white folks in the upper class and black people in the lower class. I'll go into it a little deeper when we get back. We'll go back into Islam. Islam cannot change the white man. Stop telling that lie. Nothing can change the white man. The white man is coded that way. You want to believe with this human rights and civil rights talk, you want to believe that there are good white folks and bad white folks. There's just two kinds of white folks, bad white folks and worse white folks. That's all it is. I know.
All right. So, yeah, like I said, I can never get enough of Khalid Muhammad in any lecture that he's done. There's another one that you should watch is him debating a lawyer. This on the origin of Jesus. That's one of the very first lectures I seen a Khalid do. You know what I mean? Just remember this. What is racism actually? Racism is prejudice plus power. You know what I'm saying? We do not have the power to affect nothing I say here. Nothing will affect any Caucasian anywhere. Not even one of them. You know what I mean? Yet and still, they can do what they call conforming to community standards if they don't like what I'm saying. Like I said, I don't expect that this video is going to pass that test. I really don't. And I really don't give a fuck. You know what I mean? Because I'm tired of having to watch my mouth. I'm tired of conforming to them, even though I don't. But I see people doing it. You know what I mean? Magic is your birthright. It is what you always have done. You know what I'm saying? The origin of the word bitch comes from priestess of the dog star, Sirius. You know what I'm saying? All the words that we use had origins. All the traditions that we used to do daily have been passed down. But we are so busy worrying about nonsense that we fail to self-educate. We really need to stop. We really need to stop. My message is not for everybody. Hell, I know that already. I know my message is not for everybody, and I'm not trying to reach everybody. Just anyone who's actually listening to me right now is on the frequency that they're supposed to be on. You see what I'm saying? It's very, very simple. Very simple. I told you I have a specific type of audience. Okay? But I like what you said here. The door pause is hilarious because your picture behind you has its own permanent door. I never even thought of that. Where are we? Now, we was already here. That's why strong programming against our memory of the gnosis of our true conjure war. Prisoner of war battles that never ended. It wasn't slavery. They lied. Indeed, they did. Who's really laughing when you're laughing at the exploitation and humiliation of your own people? Please stop telling that lie. White people have the spiritual vibration of wolves. Damn. No matter how loyal and friendly, if they see an opportunity, they will screw you over for resources. Tosh said a word there, and this is not fucking racism. These are just facts. These are natural, objective facts. Prejudice plus power. And they can affect what they want. It's not always been that way, but since they came into power. You know what I mean? So, with that being said, red pill rage, misinformation, and unhealed trauma with no direction to heal like the true warrior bloodlines we truly permeate. We were prisoners of war, not to be. Excellent. Excellent technique, twin. Excellent. Thank y'all for joining me today. This has been an honor. You know what I'm saying? There's one more video I would like y'all to check out. It's on YouTube. I'm very surprised it's there. It's called The Secret to Selling to the Negro. You know what I mean? The secret to selling to the Negro still applies today. This movie was made, it's not a movie, it's a documentary type. It was made in the 50s. Okay? They don't want you, but they want your resources, they want your culture, they want your lifestyles, they want everything, but they don't want you. They want your magic, but they don't want you to have it. You know what I'm saying? I am the one and only, the incredible, the inexplicable, the magical, sorceress, and hilarious, the diabolical, Magick LaCroix. I will see y'all next time. It's been an honor, people. Thanks for joining me. I'll see y'all next time. As I greet you in peace, the divine in me greets and acknowledges the divine in you. Namaste.